So you're thinking about making the move to Sacramento. You've seen affordable housing. You've seen brand new homes. You've seen amazing communities. You've seen Folsom. You've seen Roseville. You've seen Elk Grove. You've seen all these amazing spots, and you're just about there. But here's the thing. This video, it's not about amazing deals. It's not about amazing houses. It's about actually living in the Sacramento area and what's that like. For me, I came from the Bay Area, and my guest tonight came from Southern California. We moved here, we love it here, we're not leaving here. We want to tell you a little bit about why. The things that we do, family stuff, all this kind of fun stuff that you need to know. This channel is mainly based on like affordable housing, luxury housing, housing area and everything too. But the thing is, once you purchase a house, you actually got to step outside that house. And that's your environment. Those are your neighbors, those are your people, those are things to do. So for us, I kind of wanted to bring it back to something that, at least for me, if I was moving into an area, this would interest me. This is the video. It's going to be basically live, so bring your questions. And we're going to talk a little bit about what it is like actually living in Sacramento and the Sacramento area. We're talking about Roseville, Rockland, Davis. We're talking about all these spots and what it's actually like to pick up, grab all your stuff, move, maybe sometimes across country, and live in Sacramento. Is it all it's cracked up to be? Are there fun things for you to do? Is it overrated? Is it underrated? This is what I'm going to talk about on the show tonight with my guest, Corey McKinney. For me, like I said, on majority of the videos that I do are about house tours, about areas, about cities, about all that kind of stuff too, which is great. But what's it like to live here? What's it like to actually close the deal on a house and walk outside your front door and say to yourself, okay, I'm in Sacramento. Now, what do I do? What are those things that I can do with myself, my family, friends, all that stuff? Well, this video, we're going to go over that. We're going to give you a little bit of a behind the scenes on what it's like to live in the Sacramento area if you moved in here from another spot. Let's get into the show right now. All right, guys. Hopefully you had a good Thanksgiving. Let's get into it. Corey, first of all, for me, myself, I don't think I would have moved into the Sacramento area if I hadn't taken it for a test drive and said to myself, okay, I can get a house here. It's way more affordable than the Bay. And I don't think I just would have moved here just to move here. There's other places that, are in California that are a lot more affordable but I love Sacramento. I love the area. I think the house was fantastic. And, of course, people move here a lot for the affordability based on other areas in California. But for me, the area is just pretty amazing. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the outdoor amenities, that was something I was concerned of growing up in Southern California. I had the beach there. I could go snowboarding and surfing in the same day. You have this gorgeous weather. You can ride your bikes all year long. And that was something, especially with young kids, that I was really hoping to maintain. And any decision to make a move it's not just you, unless it is just you. If it is just you as a solo person, but speaking from a family perspective, that really takes input from your partner and if you have kids. And so making that wholesome decision was a big one, and making sure that this area had enough fun for the kids and our family that fit us was a huge, probably one of the biggest factors besides affordability, really. Because if we can
Yeah.
get the affordability and the family fit, gosh, we knew we were going to be happy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for me, I grew up in like Marin County. Then I went to school in LA, and then I came back and I lived like in the Nob Hill kind of Sacramento, San Francisco area where there are tons of restaurants, things to do. And so for me, when I moved to Sacramento, I was a little worried. I'm like, all right, well, I was thinking to myself, it's okay. It's not that far from San Francisco. I can go down there. I can visit. But little did I know that I don't really go to San Francisco, the Bay, too much unless I have to. I
Yep.
found everything I needed here. The food, the people, everyone was very warm, very inviting. And there are so many activities here in Sacramento. I just don't have that itch. I don't have that like, oh, North Beach pizza. I can't wait to go down there and try it because I found my spots where I love the pizza. Sushi, you got McKinney's, you got Arigato, you got a bunch of stuff here. For me, I was, in fact, I would even say the flip side, where now when I go to the Bay, I feel a little anxiety with the traffic, with the like fast paced. I feel
Yes.
like, wow, I was a city guy. And now I'm feeling like less like that, like less like, oh man, I want to get home my Traeger. I want to get home. I want to get home and watch something on Netflix. So how do you feel when you go to SoCal? When you go back to SoCal, do you feel like, man, if I could only afford a house here, I would move? Or do you feel like, no, 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 I'm pretty happy?
No, I feel for at least for us in our instance, and I think there's something to be said about the COVID era and between pre-COVID to now, especially denser cities changed so much. And leaving the SoCal area, I was in a suburb just south of Los Angeles, and leaving that area when we did, and then coming back even just 2 or 3 years later, it had changed so much. And now when we go back, and my wife's family, my in-laws, they're all in the Bay Area. So we're in the Bay Area more often than I am in Southern California. But going back to both, yeah, there's things you enjoy. Obviously family is a huge draw to go back, but no, I feel the same way you do. I get anxious. I'm like, gosh, this traffic is. I thought it was bad when I lived there, and I can't imagine doing that day to day now. I just my wife and I look at each other constantly and just like, gosh, we moved at the perfect time for us and our family, and I couldn't ever go back. I don't think.
Well,
And
I
that
mean,
doesn't that's a fit for
yeah.
me. I have friends that have just recently, in the past 6 months, moved up to this area, trying to achieve the same thing and the same lifestyle, and they have multiple kids too. And it wasn't a fit for them, and they ended up moving back within 6 months. So it's not a fit for everybody, but I think for a good majority of people that are looking to expand, reach out a little bit, have some more breathing room, escape that hustle and bustle and that kind of intensity that a more dense population brings, this is the perfect place.
Yeah, I mean, for me, how can I say it? Like the point of my life that I was at, it was like because I look at a lot of people who are like, they're younger and they're still going out partying and everything too, and which is great. I mean, hey, I was there once, a long many moons ago. I would say in Sacramento, that's a little hard to find. That's a little like, in San Francisco is great. You go to Marina, you go to like Mission District, you're here, you're there, you're everywhere. There's always spots, right? Sacramento, I'd say like Midtown is probably a little bit more, has that vibe of like, let's go out and let's have fun. I think what I really was drawn to about Sacramento were, I mean, this sounds so funny, but like the soccer games for my kids. The idea that my daughter is doing like volleyball, she's doing indoor soccer, which indoor soccer is huge here. She's also doing basketball. Like she's actually, while I'm on this live show, she's at basketball right now too. So the sports scene, the
Right.
the vibe of like seeing people at swim team during the summer that we've known and they go to school, the same thing, like giving that to myself and to my family, like that was a huge part of it. The idea that you do have that little slice of like the lifestyle you have here where you can have all that stuff. It doesn't mean just for family, just for like friends getting together, like that 4th of July block party that you might have seen in Leave It to Beaver. It exists here in Sacramento. I tell you,
Yes,
honestly, it
heavily.
really, really does.
Far, far, far more than I ever expected. Those things happen here, and in a bigger way that seems to be far more enjoyable than it was down there for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's done just as well, but it's on a broader scale, and it feels like it's not as crowded. And you have a block party and you have a bouncy house. There's not 100 kids in it. You got
Yeah.
10 kids in it, and there's plenty of room for people to go in, and it's not overrun and too crazy. It's yeah, I completely agree with you on those points.
And hey, we'll hit one of the big topics too. And Costco, guys, if you guys love Costco, I don't know if there's many Costco's in other areas in California. We got like what 9 or 10 in the Sacramento metro kind of area, in various counties. We are Costco shoppers, guys. I don't care if you live in Los Lagos. I don't care if you live wherever. Like everyone's a Costco shopper. Costco is like crazy. It's amazing that in the Sacramento area they have 9 Costco's and they're going on number 10 in West Roseville and they're still like packed. They're still packed. I mean, like parking
Yep.
lots, like in Folsom. Oh, it's like, oh man, this is brutal. I mean, like it's Costco's kind of a thing here, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now we've gone to the point now where we know the times when it's packed and we know the times that are perfect to go. and when there's half the amount of people there, and so you just kind of get to know. It depends on what you need to shop for. If you need a full load, then you go to the times when there's nobody there. But if you need some quick stuff, you just get in and get out. And there's some strategy to it. I know where to park in the Folsom lot. I know how to get in and out quick. I know, what gas line is the shortest because nobody likes to go to that one. Things like that.
Oh yeah, the thing that drives me nuts sometimes is my wife will give me a list, but it's out of order. So like I'll have to hunt around the Costco's, and sometimes they're all packed and everything too. But here's the thing, like for me, I mean, it's fantastic when you have your get-togethers because a lot of times people move to the Sacramento area because they can get a bigger house. They can get that backyard resort style vibe, that kind of thing too. And so Costco plays a great part in that as well. You could buy your what's called your prime rib. You can get your like shrimp or whatever, have a nice barbecue. And people, you generally invite people over to your homes and you have more space. So you don't have really that push. And that was one of the things in the Bay Area. I really did feel like that kind of itch to get out of my like apartment because I didn't have that much space there. It wasn't like I could entertain. It wasn't like anything. I was like, let's go to the park. Let's go for a
Hmm.
walk. Let's do something. Like there's just, I feel claustrophobic, but the thing that's nice about the Sacramento area is that, a lot of the home types in Sacramento really play to the level of creating like bonus rooms, sunrooms. You have your spots in the backyard. You can create I kid you not, for the last like 3 or 4 days, we've been showing homes and there's been like barbecue areas and like places to get together in the backyard. But getting together in the backyard and getting together and bringing people over, that's kind of a thing here, right? I know other places you're going to say, oh, we always do that as well too. But think about how many people like in the Bay live in like little tiny apartments that like you really don't have that space. Whereas like, here you're moving and sometimes doubling or tripling your square footage or your backyard size. And it just plays a whole lot nicer, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I think I've said this on the show before, moving from I lived in a city called Torrance. So Torrance had we were in a duplex. It was like 1,000 square feet. We had a 10 by 20 little backyard area and tandem parking with a neighbor. So that was always a pain in the butt. And we moved up here and we rented for the first year that we were here. And our payment from renting that to a 4 bedroom home on a third of an acre, 4 bed, 3 bath house, third of an acre, our payment went up $50.
Oof.
And so that move for my growing family was just incredible. We couldn't believe it. And any move is tough. I always say to my
Yeah.
clients, moving is never convenient. It's never
Mhm.
convenient. It's never a breeze. It's never perfect. Maybe if you're in like a relocation situation with an employer and they pay for all the moving expenses and all of that, that makes it a little easier, but it's never just a pleasurable experience. It's always tough, but when you make a good move, it pays dividends.
Oh yeah, 100%. Um, like for me at least, how can I say this? Like, um, moving up here and just experiencing Sacramento. And here's the thing, coming from someone who, and I know a lot of you guys listening to this are probably like, you live in San Francisco or somewhere, and then you're flying to Tahoe for the the winter, and you're stopping in Sacramento for in and out, but you're trying your hardest to get through Sacramento as fast as humanly possible. I was like you, used to snowboard all the time, Sugar Bowl, Boreal, all that whole thing. And it was so funny because I just didn't realize like, what you see on like the 50 and the 80. And when you go into like the Sacramento kind of landscape, like the Folsoms, the pockets, the rivers, the lakes, the parks, like the things you can kind of do here. If you take the time to explore Sacramento, it is completely different. I kid you not. It is completely different from what it looks like on the freeway to what it looks like in Sacramento. Golf course communities, like beautiful hills, like fantastic, like food scene and everything too. But you got to get away from the freeway. You got to exit a little bit, drive a little bit, like, and then all of a sudden you discover it. And for me, that was it. I didn't know what to expect. I went to Sacramento and I was like, affordable housing, yay, all right. And then I was like, whoa, this is pretty cool, and I was like you, I
Yeah.
rented for a little bit and I was like, all right, this is interesting. And then I discovered like golf course communities, bike trails, like mountain biking, hiking, walking. And then I was greeted by, you know what I was greeted by that I wasn't expecting because I was living in the Bay Area for so long? I was greeted by, hey, how's it going? It was completely foreign to me. I was like, what? Hands up. Please don't. You take my wallet. They're like, no, where are you
Right.
from? I'm like, I'm from the Bay. Oh my God. My son is too. That's fan. And it was just like this sense of like neighborly, this sense of like, not like in your face neighbors, but the sense of just like, hey, how's it going? Oh, well, by the way, we're having a dinner tomorrow night. If you want to, you guys should stop by. I got a pie delivered to me. Like it was just this sense of like, wow, okay, I feel welcomed. Yeah, and I guess that was exactly it. I felt very welcomed in Sacramento. Like it wasn't like,
Mhm.
you're a Warriors fan, get out of here. It was more like, oh, hey, great, congratulations. You finally discovered what we all discovered a whole long time ago. Come on down. What do you think about that? Like,
Yep.
how does that feeling for you? Like, because I know you're totally embedded in the community around here with the cars and coffees and all that stuff too. Like, what was your like ideas, impressions of Sacramento before you actually moved here?
I grew up thinking I would move to anywhere in California except Sacramento. I had toured it when my grandma took me on a trip here when I was pretty young, just to see the capital and do the capital tours, kind of an educational trip with a couple of cousins of mine. And I don't, maybe I just was so bored on that trip that I was like, oh gosh, it just seems like a boring place to live. And I always just thought that kind of stuck with me in my head. It was like, oh gosh, I don't want to. It was too dense and we were just staying down in the city like suburbs or the city like center. So to me, that's all I saw, and we were just going to every tourist attraction around, and that was not what I liked as a kid. I wanted to be out. I rode my bike everywhere as a kid. I was out and about. I was at the beach. I was going. My parents would say, "Get home when the sun is setting," and that's kind of what I grew up with. So that made it put this kind of thought in my head that I didn't want to ever move to this area until, you know, traveling from my wife and I lived in Southern California. We would travel up to go to Tahoe. We'd stop at her parents' place in the Bay Area. Then we'd travel through Sacramento, always make a stop somewhere around, Folsom or that area because there was always a bunch of shops and an In and Out. I'm a huge In and Out fan. So we'd have to get in and out on every road trip. And then um, we started having a lot of friends that we noticed were starting to move to this area from Bay Area, Southern California, from other states, and that just kind of put it in our mind that we should take a closer look at this location. And we came up and just got an Airbnb and traveled around and drove through all the neighborhoods, started looking at homes on every real estate website we could. We didn't contact any agents at that time, and I wasn't even in real estate at that point. As an active agent, I was working in real estate in a different capacity, but um, it just it kind of dawned on us that gosh, this actually could be a good fit, and we totally overlooked it before. We never even considered it. And then moving here, that those outdoor activities were always super important for me. I wouldn't say I'm super active, but I like if we have an open Saturday, I would love to get the kids out on bikes or go to the lake or go to the mountains or do what we can, little quick day trips. And
Yeah.
then once we moved here, I realized, gosh, there's way more to do here than there was in Southern California just because getting to the beach, finding a spot, fighting the parking was such a hassle that we would end up just not doing it and finding something else to do instead of going out and doing it. Where here there's so many options that it's so much easier to do it and it's not impacted with people. It's not You're not fighting for parking. You pull up to one location's kind of booked, you go down the street and you can get into a lake at a different place really easily. So, or up in Tahoe, there's so many options to go, and there's so many lakes in between just here in Tahoe that are hidden. And I wouldn't be able to do half the amount of things that we've done in the past 5 or 6 years that we've lived here, living in Southern California. We would just probably call it off because it's too hectic or too much traffic. It's 10 miles down the road, but it takes you an hour and a half to get there, and you just end up going to a local park instead. Um,
Oh yeah.
which we have
I mean,
plenty of local parks, and
oh
yeah,
yeah, and they're
it,
growing, and we're getting more and more. For me, it was like this. For me, when I lived in San Francisco, it was like if I wanted to leave, I knew that if I was going to the grocery store, if I was going to like say Safeway or Bel Air, I'd hop in my car. I knew the second I left, I'd lose my parking space. And then I'd go to the shopping center. It would take me a while to find parking. Then I'd go in there. It would be completely packed full of people. And it was just annoying. Then I'd leave, then I'd go there, and then I'd spend about 30, 40 minutes circling until I found a parking spot that actually fit. And then I'd look at the sign and it'd say, like, it was a Tuesday, of course, and it'd say Wednesday street cleaning, 6 a.m. So there's me, 5:30 in the morning, getting out and moving my car. So yeah, I love that
Right.
idea that in Sacramento, like, and this is for Roseville, Rockland, Lincoln, wherever, that it's just easy driving. The streets are a little wider. There's going to be spaces for you to park. It's not a big deal. If you drive on the freeway right now, I mean, unless something crazy, unless you're on the 50, but you're going to be able to get from point A to point B, and it's not going to be like, oh, I got to jump on the freeway. I got about 30 stoplights and everything too. It's just a lot easier. There's less things, less trivial things for you to be stressed about, right? Because I mean, oh, then
Yes.
I got to go there, then I got to pay for parking, then I have to like pay for the groceries, then I got to pay for the
Right.
gas, I got to do all this stuff too. It just seems like life here is a little slower, and it allows you to breathe a little bit. It allows you to kind of like, okay, catch your breath and everything too. Where when I was living in LA, when I was going to school there, or when I was like living in San Francisco in the Bay, it was like I just felt such pressure. Sometimes maybe it was making of my own, but it was like I just felt so stressed out. Here it just seems like I can breathe. I can like relax a little bit. I don't have to it feels less keeping up with the Joneses as well too. Okay, so let me ask you something. When you came to Sacramento with your family, what were some of the things that you did in Sacramento? Like, what were the like places you went to and everything too that you'd want people who are moving into Sacramento to know about? If they have, like, let's say they're saying to themselves, I want to go to Sacramento and I want to explore the fun things to do. What would be the 5 things that you would tell them to do?
So I live in El Dorado County, but a lot of the great family aspects that when we first moved here, there there's far more family aspect things to do in Sacramento, at least until we explored El Dorado County a little bit more. But the Sacramento Zoo was a huge one. We loved going there, and then Fairy Tale Town, which is right next door to it, is young kids. It's like a mini Disneyland for kids. Um, and that those two places became really awesome. And then the old like rail yards in Old Town Sacramento and going on the train through Sacramento, that along the river, that was just such a cool aspect. Lately, my kids have been loving the Mozak Museum, the Museum of Science in Sacramento. They go there on field trips all the time, and that's been a huge feature. Folsom Lake is a huge one for outdoor activities. I mean, Sunsplash, it's a water park in Roseville. You wouldn't think there's a water park there, but yeah, it's a great time. And then there's a lot of like smaller places, like there was I think it's shut down now, but in Folsom there was a place called Sequest, kind of an indoor zoo, and they had pet interactions. And my daughter and I swam in a fish tank with these sharks that are like 3 or 4 feet long and fed them shrimp and did all these crazy things. I didn't even know that these things existed in Sacramento. Um, but yeah, the Fairy Tale Town, the zoo, the museums in the area, the parks here are awesome. Um,
Oh
in
yeah.
Folsom, there's an old, Castle Park, I think is what it's called. Um, the, some of the parks in this area blow my mind. They have like zip lines that scream across the entire park, and play places that I didn't even know, I didn't even think would be in existence nowadays, but here they are. And yeah, there's tons, and that's just kind of Sacramento and part of El Dorado County, let alone all the aspects that we have a dog. We're we treat our dog like family, so anywhere we can bring our dog is a big, huge plus for us. So the dog parks, the outdoor restaurants, outdoor eating places, big breweries that have play structures in them, and they're outdoor. They have live bands going, and so that's really kind of what we've been attracted to, and it just seems to keep growing. There's a new venue every month opening up that we're like, hey, let's go check out this place now, let's go check out that place now. We have guests come in, we're like, gosh, we have 10 places we want to take you to, and we have 2 days to do it. So, pick the top places you want to see and we'll get you there.
That's a totally good point too. I mean, for me, when people come into town, and visit, there's a million things for me to do. I mean, literally, there's so many. You want to go eat? Let's go to Ella's. Let's go to the kitchen. Or you want to get some street food? There's like food truck scene over in Roseville this day. This day it's over here. You want to get this? You want to get this? Like, there's like everything around here. I think there's like a ramen place in, I think it's in Thomas or Elk Grove. That's like a Michelin star ramen place as well too. We have a
Right.
Michelin star taco place in like West Roseville or Roseville too. I mean, like the food scene is just popping here as well. And then like, but for me, when I first came here, some of the things that I thought were really cool was like the downtown Fair Oaks area. We'd go there for watch
Yes.
movies. Our daughter was just born, and we went there. And it's like there's chickens cruising around.
Yeah, there's
And it's like
chickens all over the place.
it's crazy. And I'm like, all right, this is nuts. And they're just roaming around, just like part of the town. It's really, really fun. I would say for us also, like last year we went and saw our first MLS game, the Republic, and so much fun.
Nice.
Such good energy, really, really cool. Go to the Kings game now and again too, which is great. And it's not like I can say, like sometimes you go to sporting events where it's like aggressive, right? And you feel like that, like I'm gonna kill you type energy, right? Kings games are just fun. Everyone's going for the Kings, and if you're going for the Warriors, you'll probably get people to be like, boo. Well, there's not aggressive. Like, it's just not that. You can bring your kids. You don't have to worry about like someone like throwing a punch or throwing a beer in your face or something like that. Like good old battle days of Candlestick. These are like, it's just a fun kind of a vibe there. And that Doco area, that downtown area, it's just so
Yeah.
like, it's a nice
The
area
ice
that
box
just
is
developed.
awesome.
Oh yeah, I mean, like there's so many little areas, but for me, what was it? Yeah, it was Fair Oaks at Park. Pops in the Park where like there's concerts and everything happening. What else was there that I liked? I also
Have
liked
you gone to
all
Quarry Park?
the one in Rockland.
Yeah, that place is insane.
Oh yeah,
And it's
rock
a
climbing.
quarry, like rock quarry. Yeah, it's an old quarry where there's like a huge pit, and you can zip line over these bodies of water like 300 foot tall. And if your kids are younger, like mine are, that's more for like preteen and above. But there's these huge spider net parks that they can walk across these nets, 25 feet above the ground, and rope swings and all. I've never been to a park like that in my life.
It's they go big on parks here. Like I said, I've been to
Yeah.
the Castle Park in Folsom too. And guys, this is a park that literally from the outside looks like a castle. It's crazy. Like some of the stuff here that it's just nuts. I mean, there's even like water parks in Rancho and everything too. They're going to do a surf park in West Roseville. I mean, there's
Splash
just
pads are really big during the summer too. It's
100%. I
like a
mean, there's
kids play
so much
place
stuff
with water shooting all over it. Yeah.
for summer. Okay, so I know we're in winter and we'll talk a little about winter, but like for summer, where are those like water spots for you?
So there's a great park. It's in El Dorado Hills that has a huge splash pad. My kids love that place, and it's close to us, so we go to that all the time. Folsom Lake is probably our go-to, and it's so accessible and easy. And they charge like 10 or 12 bucks to go in there for a day pass. So if you don't go there often, I would do the day pass. If you go there like me multiple times a year, you buy the season pass. It gets you into like every national park or local national park in our area, and you can get in anytime. So when we have that, we'll throw the stand-up paddle boards in the back of the car and the kids' floaties and the dog, and we'll just head to the lake at like 2 in the afternoon. It doesn't have to be a full day thing, a full day event. We'll just, when work slows down and we're like, hey, we got a couple free hours, let's just head to the lake, get on the water, and it feels like when you're driving back, it feels like you just got back from a mini vacation, and
Yeah.
it's great.
Well, that's one of the things too. Like you can go to like, because for me, I love going to Old Folsom. Like underneath the bridge, there's people paddle boarding.
Yes,
Everyone's kind of getting
Lake
together.
Tacoma.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing, guys. Honestly, like if you come here, there are so many little spots under bridges, and this sounds sketchy, but it isn't. Under bridges where like there's beach areas where people gather, people taking photography, like people in
Yep.
tubes. I mean, like it's crazy about like the river and the lake life. Then we haven't even talked about West Sacramento and the marina over there as well too. There's
Hmm.
boats you can get, there's paddle boards, and the beautiful part about it also is I don't know if it's Costco everywhere because I haven't gone to Costco everywhere, but like here, the beautiful part is during like spring, Costco starts selling paddle boards. They start selling canoes. They start selling all the stuff too. So if you're saying to yourself, man, I'd love to get into that stuff, chances are you go to Costco and they're selling like some paddle boards you can grab, inflatable ones, and then you just go to the water and just enjoy yourself. And it's just like outdoor activity galore, I guess you can call it. It's like getting the kids away from the iPads and the phones and being inside all the time and just saying like we got a couple paddle boards, we're gonna go to the water and enjoy the lake. Or we're gonna go rafting.
Yeah.
We're gonna go down. I mean, or just like, hey, we rented a boat. Let's go and enjoy Folsom Lake. I mean, there's so many things that you can do with your family that gets the kids unplugged and for you to just enjoy yourself. And here's the thing too, and I know Corey, you're huge with this. Like if you've gone through, and you'll never will go through all the stuff that you can do here outdoors wise, you can go up the hill. You can go to Placerville and it opens up a whole nother dimension of things. You can go to
Right.
Lincoln. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. You can go to Amador if you like wine country and you want to go over there too. Someone created a 3-mile indoor wine cave that looks like something out of the French Bastille. It's like crazy, but there's all these fun spots for you to explore. Don't you think? I mean, like, what are the fun things that you guys have done?
I mean, I think Apple Hill is a huge one. That's a huge driving factor for a lot of Bay Area people. If you want to get out in some like vineyards and apple orchards, get home baked, oh, the apple donuts. If you go to Apple Hill and you have to get the apple donut, any pie you want, you can get there. We get these fresh jars of honey. Um, God, the food there is just incredible, and they make the best gifts too. So, for holiday stuff, especially for my clients, uh, pies from Boa Vista, which is an apple orchard up in Apple Hill. Amazing stuff. There's so much to do, and a big thing that my kids love to do is Old Town Sac. I would say historic Folsom, Main Street Placerville. They have some of the coolest antique shops, mom and pop jewelry stores. My kids love the toy stores because you go into these toy stores that there's trains going around the ceilings and all kinds of. It's just magical for them. Um, and I go in with the thing of, hey, it's if it's a special day, a birthday or something, hey, you can get something. But I'm like, hey, go in there, enjoy all the stuff, but we're not buying anything. We're going in there to enjoy it, and then we're going to lunch, and then we're going to get on the train or a ferry up the river. Yeah, for Mother's Day for my wife one time, we took the ferry up the Sacramento River in Old Town Sac, and they served us lunch and mimosas and had a great time on the boat. Spent the rest of the day in Old Town Sac and walking on the boardwalk, going to the train museum. It's you can make a whole day of just doing stuff within a 20-minute radius. It's hard to get that in other areas like the Bay Area or Southern California because it's either too dense or too crowded, too much parking, you got to move the car, or it's too spread out that you have to drive somewhere else, and that drive alone will kill 2 hours of your day.
Oh, also the idea that you're doing this stuff with your family. At least for me, that's one of the things I look at.
Yeah,
And like the bonding piece of it. That like I said to myself, yeah, those are things that when she gets older, she'll say, yeah, we went to that, we did that, and
that's what we
it's
do
just
this for. That's what
yeah,
we work for, right?
yeah,
Moments like
it's
that.
oh, 100%. And there's just, I mean, the thing that's so funny, and Corey and I were talking about this, the video that we're gonna do tonight, the live show, and we are like, there's so many directions that this can go. Because like I said, like Corey's from SoCal, I'm from the Bay Area, and like we just the love that we have for the Sacramento area. And when I was talking about Sacramento and I was talking about the Bay, for me, when I grew up in Marin, a long, long time ago, Marin was actually somewhat affordable. And I remember by the time I graduated college, I was like priced out of Marin. And I was like thinking to myself, I could buy a tiny little place there, maybe inherit something. I mean, that kind of stuff, right? And then I discovered Sacramento. and I rented, and then I was thinking it's affordable. I know some people that went to Sac State. They didn't really recommend it too highly, and I started exploring it, and I was just thinking to myself, wow, this is pretty amazing. I mean, the only regret I have probably is not getting up here a whole lot sooner. Back when Granite Bay in Los Lagos, they were selling
Right.
those houses for like
Right.
$500,000. I mean, that would have been
Yeah.
really amazing to get up here during that period. But I mean, I'm grateful I came up when I did and I discovered this spot. I mean, so many things that you might not think about Sacramento that Sacramento has. Like, we have so many golf course communities, like really good golf courses. Now, I'm not a golfer, although I will tell you, I've been thinking about getting into golf just for the whole like getting out there and meeting people and everything too. But there's like golf course communities. There's like Serrano. There's Whitney Oaks. There's Morgan Creek. There's my favorite Verdera as well too. There's so many areas where you can golf. If you're a golfer and you just want that lifestyle, nice house on the fairway, boom, you're good to go. So there's that. There's houses on the water. And I know we don't have the bay, we don't have the ocean. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. But I will tell you something though. There are still houses that are on like the American River, Sacramento River, Folsom Lake. There's some beautiful houses. So for me, Sacramento is going to surprise you, especially if you just have been driving through it and saying to yourself, that's Sacramento. No, I was that. Corey was that. We
Me
both
too.
were.
I was exactly the same thing. Yep.
Take the
100%.
time. Before, Sacramento is definitely not in the affordable category. I mean, just take the time because, guys, here's the thing with all the stuff happening in Sacramento, the new surf park in West Roseville, Placer One, Placer Vineyards, all the stuff happening in Bickford Ranch. Ooh, West Roseville, all the houses they're building over there, a Rancho, Folsom
Mhm.
Ranch, 3 indoor hockey rinks happening in Folsom as well too. The new MLS stadium, the new indoor, what's called National Stadium as well. There's so many things
Boca.
happening here in the
Yeah.
Sacramento area that if you think Sacramento is unaffordable at this point, like wait till Sacramento in like 10 years. It's going to be crazy. Um, it's funny because I look at even the houses they were selling up at Tri Point. What was it, like maybe a year or two ago? They were selling these houses for like 650, high fives. You're not going to find that at all at Folsom. The price just keeps going up in certain areas, which is crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you
Seriously. And
think?
and our mutual client that we're getting close to closing on here in a couple weeks, huge on outdoor activities. They don't have kids yet, but they're huge cyclists. I mean, like when I'm talking big on cycling, they're like 100-mile rides. Like they're huge on this. And just them spending time here, and they're moving from Chicago. So this is a huge change for them. And I'm so glad that, it took a lot of them traveling. They're here in the area constantly for work, but them traveling here and spending time traveling around the areas. And if we're in separate cars, there's a couple of times where we're in the same car, and that is really beneficial because I can drive around and point out, hey, here's a huge trail right here, the Johnny Cash Trail going around the whole lake and going through. You can take that all the way to Sacramento if you wanted to on a bike, and it's a dedicated bike path. Sometimes it's along a road, sometimes it's not. But they had no idea these things existed here until we were kind of driving through and looking at the areas. You have to really kind of get immersed in it in a way, um, before you make that move, and then having somebody who can do that for you and is motivated to do that for you, uh, like a real estate agent, somebody who can show you all of these things, whether you move here or not, or you decide to rent for a year instead of purchasing. We can show you those things, or at least give you a bullet point list of, hey, here's, if you're going to travel here and you're going to be staying in this area, you should go check out these 20 things. And that simple list of stuff, can make or break your trip. I know when our client was, um, here staying, he was like, I need to get food. We were touring homes until like 8 o'clock at night. He's like, I'm starving. I got to take an Uber back to grab some food, and then I got to catch a flight in an hour. Where should I go? And I'm like, oh, we're in a perfect spot. You can go this way, you can go that way, you go to a town center, you can go to Folsom, you can go to this and that. And what kind of food do you like? I could point him in 20 different directions for good food. And afterward, he was blown away that these things even were here. He didn't even know they were there. So Yeah,
Well,
getting
okay,
somebody experienced on your side if you're looking to move is priceless.
well, here's the thing though too. One is like you have that enthusiasm as well too as someone who came into the area. One of the things that I
Yeah.
find being someone who came into this area, I see it with different eyes than let's say someone who's lived here their entire life. I don't see like Elk Grove as like, yeah, yeah. I go like, oh man, look at this. This is so fun. Look how cool
Mhm.
that is. Oh my, that house is amazing.
Yeah.
I think you see a little like, and you say it the same way. I mean, your enthusiasm for like John Cash Hill. And if you go here, I did this and everything too. Like there's something, I don't know what it is. Like I connect a lot with a lot of the relocation people coming in because like I'm kind of like the person who found gold on the mountain and I'm like sitting going, hey guys, like you got to check this out. When I was here, this is the most amazing thing I ran into. And there's some kind of, you have this synergy, you have this like kind of like, I discovered this amazing spot to eat like 3 years ago. You guys have got to check it out. It's amazing. And I think that those eyes and that way of looking at stuff definitely for me has helped me with the people moving in because like you and I, we've had conversations offline and you're like, oh my God, Southern California, I loved it there. But this spot in like Sacramento or this spot in Rockland, Roseville, you got to check it out. And you and I have these conversations and it's like, it's fun to kind of relay our experiences to our clients because we've experienced that and we've had such success seeing certain kind of things in Sacramento that we can relay it honestly and just go like, yeah, that's pretty awesome. Where a lot of people who've lived here their entire lives might not appreciate how amazing Folsom Lake is, might not appreciate
Yeah.
American River and the Sacramento River, might not appreciate like the growth and the development and the sunrises and the sunset and the trails. Where like someone like Corey and myself, we're looking at this stuff going, oh my, you guys do not even get how lucky you are to have all this stuff at your fingertips, And I think that's one of the things that he was so lucky to have someone like you to basically give him a little bit of that inside track instead of something that other people might have just overlooked and said, hey, yeah, it's a trail. It's been over there for a while, like seeing stuff through those
Yeah.
eyes.
Oh, absolutely. And like I grew up in the same city my entire life for, 25 years and until we started venturing out and moving to different spots. And by that time of that much amount of time of living in the same area, I became jaded to how amazing it was. There's still times when I go back, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I walk along the beach and or a beautiful pier and I'm like, gosh, I really miss this." But um you, until you get up here and realize what you can do, and see the potential for it, you take it completely for granted, or it's just like ignorance is bliss. You're just like, oh, it's just a new location. But for until you get immersed in it, you don't realize how much there is there. But going back home now, or I would call here home now instead of Southern California. When I go to Southern California, I feel like a visitor because so much has changed. It's gotten to a point where it doesn't feel familiar, and I'm constantly like, oh, that's different. That used to be the mom and pop grocery store, and now it's
Yeah.
150 apartment buildings, and it's just overwhelming. I feel so disconnected from it, where once you make that move, and I think this kind of goes across the board. It doesn't have to be if you're moving to specifically to Sacramento or El Dorado County or Placer County. It can go if you're moving from one state to another or just a couple cities over. If you don't know that area, that breath of fresh air of exploring, finding your new go-to grocery store is fun
Yeah.
for my wife and I. I feel like that's exciting. You find the things you like. You find the new outdoor evening activity that you like to do, whatever it may be, the go-to bar or restaurant, or you exploring those things and getting out there. It builds you as a person. It builds your character. It builds your knowledge of the area. And yeah, I encourage people to travel and get out there and explore more. Um, yeah, I'll stop there. I was going to go into a long story about an agent on my team, but I'll divulge.
No worries, no worries. Okay, so here's go. Okay, is Citrus Heights a safe place to live? Um, Here's the thing that I will tell you about Citrus Heights in general. Like, I think that you kind of have to explore areas for yourself. Like, what I've been trying to do is keeping my opinions a little bit lighter and kind of keeping it more like based on like, greatschools.org and like the crime maps and everything too. I think every place you need to go and explore. For me, I've moved in a lot of people into Citrus Heights and I've not gotten any complaints about Citrus Heights. I would say anywhere you move into, Granite Bay, Folsom, Fair Oaks, or whatnot, you got to kind of walk the streets, kind of vibe out the people, maybe go to the local Target, grocery stores, and everything too. For me, I've never run into those problems. The problems, like every city, every suburb, every area is going to have their own specific kind of problems. But I would say also just going out there, taking a look at what the neighbors are like, taking a look at like what the houses, how the houses are maintained. All these things are parts of the due diligence process that your realtor should be assisting you with, showing you
Yeah.
this. I would also say also go at nighttime, go during the day, go at 5 o'clock, go at 9 o'clock, and just kind of vibe out the area. Like I said, for me, my experience with Citrus Heights has been a positive one. People have loved the price point, loved moving into the area. There's certain parts of Citrus that caters more towards larger pieces of land, some more affordable housing, more luxury housing. But Citrus is definitely one of those spots, just like any other spot in the Sacramento area. You need to just kind of go out there and look at it and judge for yourself. For example, like for myself, I could say, this is the greatest pen in the world. And Corey could say, well, I don't really like that pen. So you got to kind of go out there and kind of feel out the area. And you have to work with a realtor that's going to be transparent with you. So when you have those questions that are completely 100%, I need to know, they're going to be the ones answering that. And that's going to define your like your judgment on areas. Like for me, when we're working with people like Corey or myself, that's part of the thing. You're going to have a million questions about like an area like a Citrus or Roseville or Rockland. You're going to say, okay, hey, is this neighborhood, what do you think of this neighborhood and everything too? And based on you going down the road with your realtor, if your realtor is good, by the time you pull the trigger on a house or you decide on an area, neighborhood, community, you should feel good about it, right? That's part of our job. Our part is education. Our part is to tell you this, and everything too. Now, your part is that due diligence to see what for you is a good school, what for you is a good area. Some of the things that might be just a little bit more subjective that, for us, we don't want to generalize, right, Corey?
100%. Yeah, and I think we've talked about this on the show too, is that a lot of agents will input their own personal opinion on a neighborhood or area or a home or a condition of a home that, our job is to find the best fit for you. And it's not to find the best fit for us of where we would want to live, but I've toured with multiple agents. I've been on broker tours. I've seen other agents tour my house while I'm present with their client and them talking about like, well, gosh, you don't want this type of backyard, right? Like this area is a little scummy. Or did you see that transient right around the corner or whatever? Or talking so down on the area when the clients actually love the home and they can overlook some of the side. It's a perfect fit for them, but the agent's trying to kind of guide them into something that the agent would want, and
Yeah.
that's not our job. Our job is to understand what you're looking for and provide the best fit and options for you, not to provide our opinion on it. And
No.
gosh, it's one of my biggest, like, I'll die on this hill. I drives me nuts when agents input their opinion on it. And when I was a young in the career sense agent, I was guilty of this, and I realized this is not my place. I'm doing a disservice to my clients because they actually really love that home, and I think I might have talked them out of it because I input my opinion that went against their understanding of the place. And I learned really quickly that is not my job. That is not the service I'm there for. I'm
Yeah.
trying to find the best fit for them. And if your agent's doing that or providing too much input on what they would like of the home, that's a good fit for you. I would look for somebody else. I would look for somebody of let me have your agents should sit you down, or you should have a sit down conversation with them, a serious conversation of this is what we're looking for. These are the big focus points of what we want, and your agent should just provide. It's a service-based industry, so let's be of service to the clients. Let's provide that to them. Give them uh, the homes that they're looking for, the properties they're looking for in the right price point, the negotiating tactics, and that's it. Our opinion does not matter unless it comes to negotiation and all that.
Oh, 100%. I mean, even like when you talk schools and everything too, it's just
Yeah.
so subjective too, because like there's a lot of people sending their kids to different schools. I mean, there's not a school that doesn't have any kids. So there are parents who are like, that school is where my child goes. And for me, that's it. And it's so subjective. And you guys need to feel it out. It's not just based on greatschools.org as far as like that too. It's going to the school, community vibe, feeling out like what it's like for your child as well too. And all that stuff is so subjective that what Corey said and what I've been saying as well too. Opinions, our opinions, no, we know like what kind of house you like. You know what I mean? Like the rooms, the room count, all that stuff too. Some of this stuff is like on you guys for that due diligence to figure out exactly like, what the schools are like. They're your children, you know exactly what they're like and what for you is, acceptable and what isn't. So, all right, we will go to the next one. Oh, this is a good one. Fannie Mae is calling for 5.16 million home sales in 2026. Are you taking the over or under on that? What do you think?
Um, well, being a real estate agent going through COVID era and having my own confident predictions in the real estate market, I think all predictions are take it with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of salt. 2026 is a long time period. Just like 2025 has been a long time period. So much has changed just within this 12 months that is, I mean, for real estate market and interest rates, it's been pretty level. But going into a brand new year, estimating the total home sales for 12-month period, barring something like a COVID type event, an act of God type event, um, we don't know. This is just based on the data that they're evaluating that's in their hands. And this I'll relate this to Zillow. Zillow only takes into account the data that they have in their algorithm. If there's data outside of that, like an off-market sale, they don't account that into their algorithm. So you don't see that data, and that's not calculated into their big headline claim of the market's dropped 25%. I think there's a big headline that um, uh, came out through Redfin that has been flying all over the real estate headlines, if you will, that the market has dropped 23% this year. But if you go on and look at prices, you would say like that doesn't compute. Why aren't we seeing that in the pricing? And so all of these claims are taken with a certain data set. And as I've gotten into this business and learned through developing other real estate associated businesses and then becoming an agent and now going into commercial real estate, it's very easy to take any sort of data set and manipulate it into creating a headline. And this is actually something I used to do for advertising agencies in the automotive world. This is my career pre real estate. Is we have a car in this segment, and we need to have a claim in this segment. Is it going to be the best fuel economy, the most passenger room, the best performance, whatever it may be. So you take the data set that you're given and you create the best capturing headline. And so that I would say this could be true. It could not be true, but it's all based on the data set that they're basing it on. And I know, Fannie Mae could be basing this on a number of things. We will never see the data set that they're basing it on. So yeah, take it in and put it in your back pocket, but take it with a grain of salt because it may or may not be true. It's very rare when these broad predictions about real estate markets actually come true. And so I've done research on this. I follow appraisers and everybody else that put out data on these things about calculating past predictions versus actual reality, and it's very rare if they're actually true. So
Okay.
take it with a grain of salt is what I would say.
Okay. For me, here's what I'll say. Number one is Fannie Mae, I mean, has no idea what they're talking about because they don't know what interest rates are going to be like next year. I wish they
Right.
did. That'd be awesome. So we could all get a little bit of a head start on it, but they have zero clue on where rates are going next year. Rates drive demand. Straight up. Numbers, we are in a number driven market more than we've ever been. So as far as Fannie Mae stating this, it's all rates driven. If rates go down to low sixes and maybe even high fives, we're above that. Well, I think we're, 5.16 is definitely attainable. I think if we stay at the rate we're at currently right now, I think we're going to be below that. I think it's insane for me that people, haven't realized the fact that the economy is not in good shape. The interest rates should be helped out by interest rates should be lowered to help people buy houses because our economy isn't in good shape. It's amazing the rates have stayed to what they are right now. Like I don't understand it. It's like all these job numbers and everything too in the bond market. It's just for
Right.
me it's nuts, right? Clearly right now we're in a situation where it used to be where one person could buy a house, right? Now it's like two people can't even buy a house. A couple, two people jumping into a house can't even afford it because interest rates are what they are. So for me, I think that that's nuts. I think rates should drop, but I don't trust the government enough to say that they will. But I think when Fannie Mae says this stuff, it strikes me just like Zillow, like Redfin, like all that stuff. I think they don't know what rates are going to be, and we are so rate driven. You guys have seen it during the course of this year. If you look back, just before Jerome Powell made an announcement, we had a drop in rates, and then once he'd made his announcement, and it was like anemic, whatever, it went back up. We are completely rate driven as far as and so for Fannie Mae to say, oh, in 2026, this is what we're going to do is completely is just completely, I think, irresponsible unless they know what rates are going to be right now. If they know what rates are going to be like in 2026, yes, they can definitely say what home sales are going to be like, but we are so rate driven. It's just, I hate when this happens because it's such a manipulation. It's so manipulative and it's so
Well,
headlines, and we got to
yeah,
put those headlines out there because we need more views. We need more this, we need more attention. It's completely irresponsible. That's my own 2 cents.
yeah, and
Soapbox, I'm
I
getting
just
off.
quickly ran some numbers. No, I think you're right. I just ran some numbers on the side while you were talking about that, and the total home sales for 2025 projected is going to be about 4.74 million. So that means an increase. 2025 is a notoriously slow year for real estate.
Oh yeah.
So that means 2026 is going to, if they're projecting an increase in that. Not only that, I think something major to take into account is Jerome Powell, the leader of the Fed, is going to be out by May of 2026. And most times when these big leadership changes happen, they try to make a splash of some kind of trying to a redirection of leadership, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know what that redirection is going to be. We don't know if it's going to be stricter or tighter or maintain the same course. Most of the times, though, when there's a redirection of leadership, they're not going to maintain the same course because they want to make a splash. They want to make a name for themselves. And so I would suspect by May, they're going to make some big announcements that will affect the market. You won't see these announcements actually affect the real estate market until 3 months after that. So talk about midsummer, we have a change in leadership in the Fed, and then you go midsummer, that when the actions that they take in May actually take effect or affect the real estate market, um, that could skew all of this data that Fannie Mae is basing this off of. And so that's where these things could completely shift. And that's where these large scale projections to me are, take it with a huge grain of salt. They're very broad, I would say, and they
Oh,
don't reflect the market, especially not the local market.
hey Corey, why don't next year we buy a whole bunch of bonds? Because that really did really good for our market a few years back. Let's do that
Yeah,
again.
yeah,
Let's
right,
let's screw
right.
up our market even more. This is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like saying,
Nice.
Bitcoin's going to be at 200,000 by the end of 2026. It's like, sure, it's easy to see the potential for that, but it's easy to see the potential for it to be at 80,000 too. And
Yeah.
it's too far, too much time, not enough data. It's too broad. It's not localized enough, especially if you're, just within California or within the Sacramento market. It's too broad to to base that on your decision making of buying a home, I would say.
But if you want to watch all those Fed announcements, do it in your brand new house in Sacramento. Work with Corey or myself to get you in that amazing house. And you can watch
That's right.
Jerome Powell on YouTube or on the news. Give those announcements that everybody loves. Hey guys, by the way, if you're enjoying the broadcast, and this is completely unscripted, there's no jump cuts, there's no teleprompter in front of us. We're giving you our honest opinions about Sacramento from two people who relocated in that just love the Sacramento area. So if you guys are enjoying this broadcast, let us know. All right, we got Tatiana. Good evening, everybody. Glad to be here. Tatiana is awesome. She's out there on Instagram. She's out there. She's living her best life. I gotta love it. And maybe one day we'll even have her on and tell us about the whole yoga world in the Sacramento area, because that's something I definitely need to start getting
Yeah,
into.
drop your handle, Tatiana. Drop your Instagram, or I want to follow you.
Yeah, and absolutely. Tatiana, if you could tell us what is the best spot or one of the best spots or a couple of the best spots in the Sacramento area for yoga. I think people would absolutely love to know. All right,
Yes, let's
Pamela,
go.
how long did it take you to adjust Sacramento? I've been in Atlanta all my life, so I know it'll take a lot of time to adjust. Plus, going from the south to the west requires adjustment. What do you think, Corey?
Yeah, so this is something that, God, I should bring my wife on here sometime, because she is, I consider myself a big networker, but she is a hyper networker. So, you have to put yourself, when you move to a new location, something that I've seen from the outside, watching her do this and then trying to emulate it myself, is put yourself out there. When you move to a new location, you can't just become a hermit and go and not talk to anybody where you go. You have to be able to open up a little bit, let your guard down, and be confident in saying, "Hey, sorry, excuse me. Hey, I just moved here. I'm from Atlanta," or comment on something nice about something, about somebody else, and start a conversation with them. Some of the best friends that I have to this day was when we met them when we first moved here. They were walking down our street with kids and a dog, and I have kids, I have a dog, and we just waved at each other at the top of the street. We walked up the street, we started talking to them, and they're like my go-to people in the area. If I need something, if I'm out of town, hey, I just got a notification on my at my house that my water's leaking or whatever. They're the people. They were out of town, and their dog got out and was escaped from their house, and I chased their dog down in the neighborhood in my car. And this happened 2 weeks ago, and I met them 2 weeks after I moved here, just because we walked out, we saw them walking, our kids were out playing, they waved, we walked up, we shook hands, we said, "Hey, why don't you guys come over for dinner one night and engage with people?" If you can engage with people in the new area that you're living in, you will create such a bubble around you and such a good network of friends, and also filter out the people that you don't want to be close with. There, that's I've lived here for 6 years now, and there's a lot of people that I've brought into my circle and realized, like, okay, we're kind of incompatible. There's nothing there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just we don't kind of mesh. And so if you don't put yourself out there, you won't get that engagement. So and I think this goes across the board again. If you're moving from Atlanta to Seattle, you're moving Atlanta to Sacramento, you're moving it from Atlanta to LA. It doesn't matter where you're moving. You need to immerse yourself in the location. If you see somebody that is doing similar things to you or has a like mind like you, say something, engage, introduce yourself, and that will put you in a position to consistently grow the people that you know, the network that you have, and the friends that you have in your circle.
Okay. I like that. I will say this for me on my side. I'll say as far as the weather goes, it took me about 3 years to kind of get used to the heat in Sacramento for the weather, right? And Atlanta's a lot more humid. It's humid. So you're going to get a little bit more of the dry heat here in the Sacramento area, although people in Sacramento are so steadfast to the idea that Sacramento is humid. If compared to Atlanta, compared to places that I've lived, it is not humid in Sacramento. Humid is your shirt turning yellow if it, like it's just not. So I'd say the weather here is definitely um like more of a dry weather here. I think as far as the heat goes, the heat in summer is going to be hot. Atlanta does get hot, so I don't know if that's gonna be that big of a problem. Now, as far as the people goes, Corey's totally right. People here in Sacramento, at least for me, comparatively towards the Bay Area, are way more approachable. People are like really like apt to talk. Big things too that are here that are just huge are clubs. There's biking clubs, there's like walking clubs, there's this club, there's that clubs, and they're all over Facebook. Also, another big thing in Sacramento that I noticed is a lot of people get together in various venues to like watch sporting events, like the Kings games, like all that stuff too. So like whatever your jam is, like if you like to barbecue like me, there are clubs. I kid you not. I'm members of barbecue play where people are sending me photos of like prime
Yeah,
ribs that they
same,
cooked. I swear,
same.
like at 10:30 at night, my wife's like, "Who's sending you a photo?" I'm like, oh, "Okay, that's fine." So there are people, but everyone here, and the other thing too, Pamela, that's you're gonna love, and this I kid you not, because of all the people moving into the Sacramento area, you're going to be living in an area where there's so many other people that want the same thing as you do, to get to know people. They're neighborly, friendly, like, oh my God, I moved in here. I have a cousin who lives over there. I grew up there. And a lot of people are moving in. A lot of the new home people too are moving in from other areas of the United States, some from the Bay, some from LA, but also I've moved people in from like outside the United States. I've moved people in from everywhere. You too, Corey, right? I mean, there's
Yeah,
places.
absolutely. Across the
Yeah.
nation. Yeah.
Yes.
And I
So if
and I
anything,
agree with you. I only touched on the people aspect, but yeah, I would say I've never been to Atlanta, so I can't definitively say. But I think the weather here, um, definitely during the summers, will probably be a little bit more enjoyable unless you love the humidity aspect of it. It'll probably be a change. It'll be drier, and you'll probably have a colder winter. It gets cold here. Depending on where you land in this Northern California area, um, it, it could it could be a change for you. But I think overall the weather here would be a huge benefit. I think you'll enjoy it. It gets chilly. You have seasons, but you don't have to bear the brunt of the seasons.
no. And I think, how is it, like the foliage here in the Sacramento area is beautiful too. You can go on walks.
City of
But
Tree.
the
Yeah.
biggest thing for me though, especially coming from the Bay, is people are just so friendly. Like you just run into people. I don't even know how to describe it. You go to Starbucks and next thing you know, you're gonna be meeting someone for coffee the next day. It's a very like neighborly, friendly kind of place. And you are gonna run into a ton of people that are coming in from other areas as well too. So many, and way more than ever before, because so many new home communities are being built in the Sacramento area that people are flooding in here from other areas, like left and right. So, in a weird kind of way, Sacramento is completely like changing a little bit. Like, you will run into people from every spot in the United States, outside the United States, and it's fun, you know? With that also comes amazing food. So, I'm good. All right, here we
Yeah.
go.
Exactly.
Hey, it's a 10 to 12 mil mid 30s tech bro chiming in. Been a minute, looking for a 3 and 2 bedroom place for my parents to crash when in town. Thinking Concord, 700K, good home value, still in that area. What do you think, Corey? You work in that area as well too. What do you think, Concord? You like it?
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with the Concord area as I am obviously the Sacramento area, but um, I would say if you're tech based, I would assume you're San Francisco, or relatively local to the area. I think anywhere East Bay and then going up to Marin, there's pockets. It's very pocketed with good areas and then not as desirable areas. and that reflects in real estate values. Um, I don't think you can make a bad. It depends on your time of stay too. Are they going to stay for 2 or 3 years and hope to sell for 1 million in 3 years? I don't. I would say maybe that's not the best investment. If they're going to stay for 10 years and and then make a good investment for a 10-year plan, I think it depends on your term. Um, so if it's long term, I don't think you can go wrong anywhere in California. California is an appreciation state. The values never go down.
I
But
like that.
yeah,
I like you know where I like Union City. I think Union City, you can still get a pretty good bang for your buck there as well too. Like we sold a house a while
mhm,
ago in Union City in the sevens, and it was so funny. They bought the house and then they moved in like 20 people coding. So I don't know that yeah, it'd be interesting though. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And which says the problem with the Bay Area proper is this space versus price is terrible. Yeah, it's gonna get worse too with all the people making money with AI right now. Oh man, like it was so funny. The Bay was like sleeping, 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 and then AI, boom. And we're feeling it here. I kid you not, within the last 6 months, we've
yep,
moved in at least 4 to 5 people that have cashed in on Nvidia. We have other people that cashed in on stocks as well too, and some people who still work at the company. So that big boom is going to make it even harder to find spots to live in the Bay. And so if it
right.
was me, Sacramento, I would probably look for other areas maybe that aren't too far away. So I don't
Well,
know.
and
All
I
right.
can
So,
touch on this from a commercial real estate standpoint is Sacramento historically always follows the trend of San Francisco on a delayed basis. So the office sector has been hit so hard from COVID with their work from home stuff and everybody working from home. The office space has been devastated in commercial real estate. And now we're seeing this new boom in San Francisco with office space being the top tier office spaces always get taken first. So we're seeing this progressive occupancy state taking place of these high end office space in San Francisco that has been vacant for years. And so as that floods down, I'm seeing office space here in this area coming up in higher demand. Not on the same scale, but we're going to see that trend moving forward as business comes back, office work, come back to work comes back. We're seeing that, and AI is a huge driving factor in that. AI and biosciences are some of the biggest driving factors in office space, and so we're seeing that flood down from the Sacramento area, and that inherently drives up the real estate prices. So as more people flood in, getting these new jobs for AI, life sciences, biosciences, we're seeing those being occupied in San Francisco, and that's only going to flood into the Sacramento market.
all right, we got this. Mark, ask him if he had 1 million in excess capital he had to deploy within the next year. What would he buy and why? Oh, this is where it gets good. All right, Corey, come on.
If I had 1 million to deploy in excess capital today, I think there's two different strategies. For me personally, I would buy commercial industrial real estate. The trades have seen a huge surge. AI doesn't affect trades, it only pushes them higher. So when I talk about trades, this is roofing companies, HVAC companies, contractors, concrete people, framers, everybody that does the hands-on work. They need a place to store their equipment, their materials. And so that the industrial space has always it's been hot since COVID, and it's only growing with the AI boom. And so I would say that is a huge sector that I would say is huge and safe. If we're talking about you want a gamble play, you can go into office because if that continues to boom as it is, you can get those for very, very cheap and make a good investment now and have a really long-term investment. If we're talking about residential, like buying a home or a rental property, I would look into multifamily, especially in the Sacramento area, because with the the current economy, a lot of people are struggling for jobs, and that equals to them not being able to make their rent, which doesn't pay off the landlord's payment on the multifamily property. So if we're seeing more multifamily properties going into delinquency and default than we are for a long time. So if you want, everybody needs housing. I think it's the most secure place to put your money is, but either multifamily. If you want to gamble, I would say office. That might have the biggest play, but it's probably the most risk. Or you could put it into industrial, commercial, which I think is probably the safest bet.
All right. He said, this is good info. Listen, I'm telling you straight up, the reason why I got Corey on the show is because he's a rock star when it comes to commercial investing and everything too. Not only is he a good person, but he knows what he's talking about too. So yeah, like I said, if you want to, I can put you guys together as well too. But he's been killing in commercial as well. So there's good stuff
And
there. All
restaurants,
right.
gosh, I got a bunch of restaurant listings and restaurants are taking off for some reason. I don't know what it is, but restaurateurs are looking for new places to open up. And so that to me is a signal of the economy kind of shifting. And so restaurants are, yeah, popping off. Sorry, not to chime in, but random piece of info for you.
No, he's good. He's going to hit you up. All right, cool. Tatiana says,
All
the
right,
best
Tofu,
place in
let's do
yoga is
it.
Bali. Ah, of course. But here is definitely choose Lifetime. Lifetime. Okay, so guys, if you guys aren't familiar with Sacramento, Lifetime is just crazy. There's Lifetime Fitness or Lifetime in Roseville, Lifetime in Folsom. But there are places you can spend the entire weekend. I mean, there's bars there. I mean, it's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah, we had a we this is the hack with Lifetime. If you want the hack, is there's no commitment to it. It's a membership base. It's expensive. It's probably the most expensive gym you'll ever join, but they don't commit you to a year, so you can pay by month. So we join Lifetime during the summer months, and in the winter months we cancel. Because in the summer months we can go in, do all the stuff, do all the pickleball, the pool. They have slides in the pool, outdoor stuff, outdoor bar, grilling, all this crazy stuff, amenities. You can go in there, workout, yoga, pickleball, tennis, whatever you want. Um, and they don't commit you to a year a year, multi-year platform. So that's my hack for Lifetime. It's worked for us. We join when it makes sense for us.
It's like a cruise ship on land that you go to,
Yes.
and it's just like, guys, if you're
Yes.
coming to Sacramento and you're like, close to Folsom, close to Roseville, because that's where their locations. I mean, it is a thing. Like it's like, hey, do you want to come over? Let's go to Lifetime this weekend and hang out. And you stay there the whole day with the kids and everything too.
Yes.
It's absolutely
Yep.
nuts. So if you guys are coming to the Sacramento area and you're saying to yourself, I want something like a kind of a safe area for the kids, pool, indoor, and everything too, just check out Lifetime in Roseville. Check out Lifetime in Fitness and tell them Mark and Corey sent you. They'll have no idea who we are, but you can tell them either way. But
Yeah.
it's it's just absolutely nuts. And like I said, Tatiana recommends it for yoga, but it's just so much more than that. It is a giant
Yeah.
place to have
They
fun
have
with your family. And there are things
every
like that all
class.
over Sacramento. Go for it.
Yeah, every class you can imagine, indoor pools, outdoor pools, saunas, private showers, like kid care. You could go walk in there and put your kids in the kid center. It's like a full play place area. If your kid is crying, I get a phone call from the people watching them saying, "Hey, they're having a hard time." We walk from the pool over, pick up the kid, bring them down to the pool, and then enjoy the rest of the day at the pool, grabbing food outside, inside. You could literally, like you said, spend the entire day there. I've done it multiple times.
It's fun. All right, so here we go. Tell them we're eating sardines out of the can in 2027. Let's go back to restaurants. Oh man, I missed you, man. I miss you. All right. Jason Smith says stopping by to say hi. Hey Jason, how's it going, man? Been seeing your videos too. Keep them going. I gotta get them on. We gotta collab one of these times, Jason. You got some skill. Good. And like I said, if you can put down your Instagram handle as well too, so people can check out some of the
Yeah,
amazing home
let's
tours you
do
do on
that.
IG. All
I
right.
want to check it
Easy for
out.
him to choose. Yeah, he's good. He's got chops as far as like the videoing and everything too. Nice guy, guys. Really good dude. Really good realtor. Really good guy. All right. Easy for him to choose Lifetime when I'm here in Antioch at the Planet Fitness. JK, I'm
Hey, well,
Equinox
okay,
of the
hold on.
city.
I gotta defend this one because my go-to workout gym is Anytime Fitness. It's like more leisure. The amount of times I've worked out at Lifetime Fitness versus going to the actual gym to do a workout, that's my Anytime Fitness, you know. Lifetime is more leisure fun stuff. Okay, Jason
Well,
Smith, I'm gonna follow you right now.
well, here's the thing for me that I always laugh about Lifetime. Lifetime is the place you go to, like if you want to really get dressed up to work out. You know what I mean? It's like a
Yeah.
scene in
Yeah.
there, you know. You can't just go there and throw the sweatpants on, hair disheveled with a hat and going to work out. That's a place where you're gonna like run into a lot of people. So it's like, it's
A lot of
just yeah.
influencers there, yeah.
Oh
So
yeah,
I
you
mean,
just can't
pick
be.
and choose. Some people love that kind of gym. I like the hole in the wall kind of gym for my workouts, and then I like that for like hangout pool kind of stuff.
All right, Jason says following everyone back the next 30 minutes. Guys, follow Jason. He's awesome. All right, hoping to see rates drops. Can't believe they've continued to stay up. I'm 100% with you. I mean, can anyone not tell the economy is not in great shape? I mean, and here's the thing. Here's how I correlate it. Okay, guys. Normally, what you see is when the economy is not doing great, interest rates tend to go down. Why? To help people buy houses. So somehow there's a miscommunication and it's really affecting demand in the real estate market. So I would think that, the smart thing would be to bring rates just a little bit, not a huge amount. We don't want to get back into like, buying bonds and everything too and just going crazy. But I mean, low sixes, high fives. I mean, let's kick the, real estate market into gear. But apparently the economy is fantastic. Everyone's got jobs. We all got a ton of money, and consumer debt is an all-time low. I mean, I guess, right? Right, Corey?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. And I think, like we talked about earlier, um, come May, Jerome Powell's going to be stepping down. There's going to be a new Fed chair, and who knows what's going to happen then. And it's a roll of the dice. We don't know what they're going to do, and so I think there's a lot of pressure from the current administration to push the rates down, and Jerome Powell has not done that, and so we'll see where this goes. That there's no way to say it. And Jason Smith, I'm already following you, by the way.
I'm already following Jason. He knows that. The economy not great, but AI tech is booming. Yeah, early stage companies are gobbling up cash from fat olive oil filled investors. You'll see consolidation soon, and services will be gone. One of us. I know it'll be AI, Mark and Corey talking to you guys on the show. It's I don't know. It's a crazy thing, but at the same time, here's the thing. I will tell you guys that 2000 for me. What do you think? 2025 living in Sacramento. I'd say it was an interesting one. I'd say we saw a lot of people move up, move in,
Hmm.
not as many as we hoped for. I'd say 2025 was interesting because up till the Super Bowl, I thought this would be a banner year, and then after the Super Bowl, everything kind of
Right.
dwindled a little bit. I
100%.
mean, it's not
Yep.
horrible, but I think sellers probably are selling their homes a little higher than they should be. And buyers don't feel that pressure to buy. They're like, maybe it gets better, maybe it doesn't, but it couldn't get worse. So that's kind of the sentiment. How are you feeling about it?
I think 2026 is going to be a very interesting year. 2025 was kind of exactly. I tell my clients all the time, for some reason, after Super Bowl weekend, the real estate market goes crazy. It's like everybody's waiting for that moment, and then it goes berserk. And now we have this Fed chair change right before Super Bowl will happen, and then we'll have this Fed chair change. And so 2026 will be a very interesting year because I think there's a lot of changes coming, and we don't know what direction they're going to go. I think if we get some sort of media coverage of who's filling in for the Fed chair, maybe we'll have some indication of it. But right now, it's undefined. And so I think 2026 is going to be a much more um, roller coaster year of changes than 2025. 2025 overall has been down and stable, stable but on decline, slow decline.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I would say.
All right, we'll go, Christian. We'll hit you in a second. Real estate transactions are going to be automated the same way my service industry soon. I sold a services company in 2022 and scared to do a 2.0 due to the potential unwinding of remedial tasks. I'm scared, Mark. Should I learn how to swing a hammer or eat lentils and not rice? I'm going to tell you something. It's going to be AI is just one of those things for me. It's so it's just it's a scary thing. And I was looking at, I'm looking at my 10-year-old daughter going like, I can't it's amazing how fast AI changes things in a short amount of time, right? Like I remember back in my day, like Google came out and things were changed because, search engines, all that stuff too. And then we had like iPhones and everything too. But the rate that AI changes stuff, that AI does something crazy tomorrow, it just changes the entire landscape of everything. The quickness of AI changes is what scares me. It's going too fast. It's like something is going to come out tomorrow, AI related, and it's going to just change the game. It's just everything is very, very fast. It's not like a slow learning curve. You know what I mean? It
Hmm.
is going to be crazy. Like for me, I look at me doing a real estate video, right? All of a sudden, there's AI stuff that can do videos, throw out video content, saturate Instagram, saturate YouTube, saturate all that stuff too. I mean, and for realtors and lenders, it's a scary thing too. And there's so many other areas as well. AI, you just don't know which way they're going to hit you with. So yeah, it is scary. All right, let's go back to other stuff. If rates go down in 10 years, you won't see a house in Sacramento under a mill. I got to agree with you. I think this is a good one to close on. I do think that Sacramento in general, still for me, is the best bang for your buck for the California lifestyle. I think Sacramento, in an economy that, as we know, isn't great, we're still growing. You know, we are not, if you compare us to like markets like Houston, like Dallas or whatnot, we're doing good in this decline of demand in these interest rate times. We're still doing good. And for us, if interest rates do go down, I mean, we're going to be booming again. I mean, when you think of so many of the new homes that are still being sold, when you think of all these projects in the Sacramento area that are still chugging away, they haven't stopped it, they haven't closed shop, they haven't said this, they're still going. The Surf Bar, Top Golf, the rail, all this stuff is still going and going and going, fueled by all the people that are moving into the Sacramento area with all the new home communities that are being built that are being gobbled up. Maybe not gobbled up as much as they were before, but they're still being purchased. And so for me, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I'm a San Francisco Giants fan back in the day when they just brought on Barry Bonds. I feel good. I feel good about our market. What do you think, Corey?
I mean, yeah, 10 years, again, going back, like that's a very broad projection. I could see in 10 years. It depends on the value of the dollar. It depends on where job goes. It depends on where AI takes us, But AI can only do so much, and this kind of goes back to what you were just talking about on the previous comment, is AI can take over any industry in theory.
Yep.
But besides the hands-on trades. But at the same time, humans are humans. And at some point you don't want you can't talk to AI the same way as you can a human. And that will never change. They may provide just as much insight, just as much tactics, just as that, but they can't have the emotional aspect of it. They can't understand it can't understand the emotional piece of your family moving in to an area. Um, Will homes be over $1 million in 10 years in Sacramento? Maybe, maybe not. If AI takes over all the jobs and you have no jobs to pay for your house, then the only person buying homes is BlackRock, and you're not going to be owning a home. They may be worth $1 million, but you're not going to own the home because you're going to rent it. And so, let's just, I think if you're looking to purchase a home in the next 6 months to 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Let's focus on that plan. If you get in now, you won't have to deal with this because the value of your home will skyrocket so much that even if interest rates drops, you're in. You're riding the wave, and you're gonna grow in the value of that. And I think there's a strong, big part of me is if you get in the game and purchase real estate, something you can never take away. Um, you own the land, you own the property.
Hey, Corey, I don't know if we can hear you.
Oh,
There you go. You're back on.
I still hear
All
you.
right.
Can you hear?
Okay, good. No, you're back. All right, I have a baby and I'm thinking I should sit on the cash with 5% yield. I feel like new grads right now are seeing their downfall in real area. Yeah. Sorry to somber the note, but bullish on real estate. It has got to be scary to like be in college right now too and seeing all these jobs and AI stuff. You know, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's nuts. It's nuts. Here's a currency that would likely buy a SAC home in 2040 due to AI integrated real estate agents taking over the industry and general dystopia. Is easy to get a good renter, but just for just one property, would you do it on your own or would you get a property manager? Okay, that's interesting. What would you do, Corey?
so this
There we go.
I would this is a very I'm glad you asked this question because this is a very subjective question. It depends how good you are at hands-on activities. Do you know, can can you do some handiwork? If you
Yeah.
can do some handiwork, or you have friends, family, people that you know that can do it on an economical basis for cheap, essentially. If you can, and cheap doesn't always mean bad. You can have people that do it cheap and do it well. If you can do that, then the take it on yourself. If you own one property, I would say put your bootstraps on and learn the ropes of what it takes to do it if you own one property. If you own 20 properties, then that's probably a good position for a property manager. If you own multiple properties where you can't keep up unless you want to be a full-time contractor, don't do that. If you own one property and you're semi handy or have the resources to get this stuff done, do it on your own so you can learn the ropes. You can always go to a property manager at another time, but do it now so you can learn what it takes, the nitty gritty of what it takes to manage a property.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, if you got one, I agree with Corey. I mean, learn the ropes. But other than that, I would say if like, let's say you're far away, let's say you're in the Bay and you have one property, I would say probably get in contact with a good handyman, a handyman who can go out there and kind of just, because for me, for example, like for a lot of the houses we have people that are like handyman, we have contractors or whatnot. Our handyman that we work with can pretty much do everything, right? They're not general contractors, but they're handyman, which means they can pull out
Yeah.
toilets, they can do everything too. And so for me, if I was going to be like, let's say live in the Bay Area and I had one property here, I might interview a few handymen and just say like, I need you on call. So if something goes wrong, I need you to go and take care of it. That would probably be a little bit cheaper. And that way you can build a little bit of rapport with the handyman. Therefore, when you get your next home, if there's some stuff you need fixed before you pull the trigger, you got your guy who you know is really, really good, lay in
Right.
some nice floors, fix some countertops, if you already established relationships in the area. That's how I would go about it. Ugh.
And if sometimes what happens with really good handymen is if you promote them too much or give them too much work, they go off on their own. And so you lose the
Yeah.
handyman. And so you gotta, you know, you want to give them all the work and trust them, but at the same time, have a plan B. If they're gone, have something lined up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. So, how much will new builds keep SAC prices reasonable? Like all the empty land north of Natomas, they're going to build that outright. Other areas as well. Well, yeah, like I've said on this channel a bunch of times. I mean, a lot of people in like areas that are like that don't have new homes. One of the things that has kept the prices down, in my opinion, in the Sacramento area is because we do have all this new home building, right? If we didn't have all these new home communities that were out there, I think our house price in Sacramento would be way higher than it is right now. But, with all these new homes, it's actually keeping prices
Mhm.
down. So I do
100%.
think that for us, yeah, I do think that at this point, if the new homes go bye-bye or all of a sudden these communities or they stop building around here, I mean, we're going to go up in price because if resale's all we got, then we're in deep trouble. What do you think, Corey?
I think this goes back to the other comment of in 10 years, if rates go down 10 years from now, every home in Sacramento will be over a million. With the amount of building that we have, I don't see that happening because this is an affordable area to live in California. And I think that goes two ways. One, it either the building stops and all the prices skyrocket, and that has to be supported by jobs, and people have to make money to pay for those things. If people are making money, builders are going to build.
Yeah.
So that means a continuance of the current state that we're in, of uh, continuance of buildings, of growth, of establishments. Like you said, all these amazing commercial places that are being developed here. And if that's the case, then I don't see how this area will either collapse or get to a place of unaffordability. I think it's going to
Yeah.
maintain its same course and become this kind of mecca hub until it's too overbuilt. But I don't see that happening in 10 years. There's too much uh place there's too much vacant land to expand to, which I it's a pros and cons. I don't love the idea of just developing every piece of vacant land,
Yeah.
but I also love the idea of growth. And so I think it's a delicate balance there, and I hope that the powers that be that can control these things will see that and establish some sort of regularity in the next 10 years that we can establish growth, but at a pace.
It's tough. You look at like Folsom Ranch and you say they've already built a whole bunch of houses and they continue to build. Where is that stopgap? Where is that? Okay, let's keep Folsom what it is. Like, let's not keep
Right.
building. Like, and that's where, yeah, you're right. It gets a little interesting. Right now, we're lucky in the sense that we do have a lot of land. We still got tons of land in West Roseville, Rancho. We've got some in
Lincoln.
Folsom, Lincoln, and everything too. But eventually, that's going to hit. We're going to hit that wall of like, okay, do we keep going and be greedy and like let the builders keep going, or do we say, look, here's the thing, a lot of people move to Folsom, El Dorado Hills, like Lincoln, everything too, because there is a lot of land. You can get there's a lot of fun things to do and everything too. We don't want to kill that. So yeah, hopefully there's some kind of regulations or some kind of like someone's regulating that stuff because like it would be such a shame if the reason why people move to Folsom is no longer there or El Dorado Hills is no longer there. And we're just this like entire region of like Tri-Point or KB homes, and that's it. Just wall to wall homes. Like,
Mhm.
that would be horrible, right? I mean, that's
And if
not
you
why I
talk to
moved here.
people, yeah, exactly. And if you talk to people who have lived here in this region, in Placer, Sacramento, El Dorado counties, if you talk to anybody who has lived there their whole lives and they're still here, they have that mentality of it's just being completely overbuilt, completely overbought, and and they have that sentiment. But for people like you and I who are just coming here, we're like, this place is amazing. We're growing, we're booming, we're seeing growth happen in the right area. And so I think, there's pros and cons to that, but I think when you're looking at the wholesome region comparatively to like an LA or a Bay Area region, it's still 10 times better.
Oh yeah. I th- I think, okay, how can I say this? Like I think that Folsom Ranch, and this is my own humble opinion, I think Folsom Ranch at this point should stop. I think it should stop at least and have maybe like a 5-year grace period to see how what they've built develops and grows
Hmm.
and how it does its thing, right? Too.
Yeah.
I think that there's certain areas that we need to kind of like put a pause and say, okay, look, we just built 15,000 homes there. There's going to be new parks, new schools, and everything. Let's let everything grow in and develop, and then we're going to reassess in 5 years and see how it looks. And if it looks like we should put in more homes, or there's space to do it where we don't kill Folsom, then let's like do it. But the thing for me is like, we're putting in all these homes, and there's still all these schools that need to be put in. There's all this shopping that needs to put in and all that stuff. So we don't really know what it's going to look like. I mean, maybe we've already built too much, and other areas they're building out. So like for me, I just think that we need to have a lot of like you said, like guidance, regulations on that, because I would hate to see it just be a complete entire area of tract homes. Like that's it.
Right. Right.
So I don't know.
And
But
yeah,
yeah,
and once they get 1,500 rooftops occupied of residential, it unlocks the ability to build a new commercial plaza. And these are all, at least Folsom Ranch, it's like the perfect example of this. It's pre-planned communities, so they have the residential developments. Once they have enough occupancy under those roofs of those developments, then they have approval to build the plazas, the gas stations, the shopping centers. And so that's the development starts with housing. And
yep,
so I think there's pros and cons to the housing boom. I think and it goes back to the whole thing. The economy dictates where the builders build. If they can make money building the houses affordable, then they'll put people in them. If they can't build them affordable that they'll sell, they won't build them, or those developments won't be occupied, and then they won't get the commercial occupancy. So, and that all is dependent on the economy. So
yep.
we all play a role. It's not just in our control. It's not just in the government's control. It's not just in the economy's control. If the economy is doing excellent, we're going to see building. Um, and so it's a lot of people like to point the fingers at, oh, it's these people, these housing developers, these commercial developers, this and that, but they all coincide, and they only happen when they all happen. And so I think that's something important for people to take into account.
Absolutely. No, 100%. All right, we got Jason. Is it just me, or does anyone else think there should be a freeway from Rockland, Roseville to Folsom? Oh, I would love that.
That's
If that
Douglas.
happened, I will tell you something though. If that happened, a legit freeway, because for a lot of people who don't live in the Sacramento area, to get from like a Roseville to Folsom, let's say at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, good luck. Hour, 50 minutes, something like that. It's just brutal. It's absolutely brutal, because Folsom Lake is right there, and it's just a pain. So if we had some sort of a freeway to get that and to cut that drive to like, I don't know, maybe like half or even a third of that, oh, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Because
In 20 years, Douglas Boulevard, because Douglas is the connector to the Auburn Folsom that goes around Folsom Lake. So in 20 years, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a highway going along above Douglas, going over the lake, all the way down to Folsom.
oh my God, over the lake, that would be the coolest thing ever. Or like underneath a tube. Future of Sacramento.
It'd be over the
All right.
dam. It'd be perfectly over the dam. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, Candace, I like Hazel. Oh, I take Hazel. I said I was going, you like Hazel? Yeah, Hazel. Oh man, I've been stuck on Hazel. Sierra. Oh, it is brutal. And that's the thing about Sacramento. For a lot of people who don't know or haven't lived here, is that most areas like your Dallas has their like freeway going around the entire metro area, has a freeway. So you can connect into certain suburbs and areas, and it's a little bit easier. Sacramento doesn't have that because of Folsom Lake. And so what we have is the arteries like Hazel, Sierra, Sunrise, Bradshaw, and everything too, to get us from point A to point B. And because of the growth of like, 30,000 new houses in Elk Grove, 30,000 new houses in Folsom, all this stuff happening in various areas, it's just creating like Sacramento's lack of infrastructure is really, really telling at this point. And so, Hazel was great back in the day, but now Hazel is like a bottleneck. I mean, you guys have seen it for those who live in Folsom, the East Bidwell. It used to be good before Folsom Ranch showed up, and now it is like a bottleneck right there. So Sacramento wasn't, their infrastructure wasn't really that good. And like I always tell people, the two Achilles heels, in my opinion, in the Sacramento area is number one, our infrastructure or lack thereof, right? Which is coming, and now they're trying to fix it. You know, I think it's they didn't expect this growth to happen so soon. And the other thing too is our lack of public transportation. Those are two things that if we actually had them in place right now, and if our infrastructure is there, I mean, we're golden. What do you think, Corey?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of clients that do the, you know, uh, they pull their car up to the local. I live in El Dorado County, so it's a little different than Sacramento County. But if you pull your car up to the park and ride and hop on the bus, which it's the buses here is not like buses in Sacramento, or sorry, San Francisco, LA. I have a lot of people that commute in to the city from this area, and they park their car there, they hop on, they're in the city within 30 minutes. And so I think the public transportation system is actually works very well for the city, but for the amount of growth that's happening, I think they're looking for more of, you know, like high speed rail stuff that goes around the entire city. And but Sacramento is not built for that. And if you're coming to this area from a San Francisco, an LA, that's kind of what you're trying to get away from at the same time. So if you're looking for, you know, a high-speed rail that you can hop on from a city bus, or you know, walk from your apartment to get on a train to the downtown, we can still have that. It's just more centralized to Sacramento. But it's if you're looking for that in the outer parts, the Rosevilles, the Rocklands, the majority of the people that are moving here are looking for more space. And
Yeah.
so you know, urban transportation doesn't happen in more suburban or rural environments. And so, if you're looking for that more space, I think you have to decide of what you're trying to look for. If you want that urban kind of feel, major public transportation, then I think Sacramento is still a perfect spot for you, but maybe look closer to the city. If you're looking for something more broad, or getting away from that, look a little bit further out. It has everything that you want here. It just depends where, and the drive from a little bit further out to the inner city is like 15, 20 minutes. All of my family jokes about, they're like, "How far is my family thinks that I live in the country. They think that I live in the outskirts, like Alabama or something. And everything, they're like, "How far is Target? How far is Costco? How far is this? How far is that? How far is Placerville? How far is that?" And I'm like, "Everything is 15 minutes. Everything is 15 minutes." And they can't comprehend it because they live in San Francisco, LA, and everything will take half an hour, even if it's 3 miles away. Um, so I think you got to pick and choose what you want. Um, that's just the growth development stage that Sacramento's in. And if you want the intense public transportation, maybe it's not the best fit, or you just move a little bit closer to the inland, Sacramento urban sector, and you'll have that.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want that, you just move a little bit further out.
Okay, so that brings me to a point. Here's the thing. And you coming from LA in the SoCal area, like I always saw LA as being like a driving city. I often look at Sacramento as a driving city. Sacramento, the metro area, is a driving spot. Like it's not a spot where it's like, oh, hey, I'm gonna walk down the block and jump on the bus, and then I'm gonna go to meet my friends over here and everything too. I mean, Sacramento is one of those things. And for all you people who are thinking about moving to Sacramento, maybe you come in from the Bay or whatnot. Like one of the things that really you need to focus in on as well too is how important is maybe that additional 3-car garage, right? A lot of people move in 2-car garage, they're all excited, but also the idea that Sacramento's driving and everything too. I mean, we are really, really a driving kind of city. I would say that like, I mean, as far as I go, like it's just not something that like you were mentioning too. That's not just like, my daughter isn't gonna like walk to a bus and then take the bus here and then be able to connect over here. It's just not feasible, like, at least the way I look at it. So I would say that Sacramento, when you say it would be more of a driving area than more of like a public transportation spot.
But yeah, 100%. I if you're really looking for, if you're coming from the Bay Area and you're used to like BART and like hopping on a train, um, to get to wherever you want to go, or you just want to hop on a bike, um, you can do that here. But I would say y- for the broader, when I talk about Sacramento area, I talk about Sacramento, Placer, El Dorado counties all together.
Yep.
Those counties combined, if you wanna go, you can go across county lines within 15 minutes of most of where you're at, unless you're really deep in Sacramento. So if you're in the, northeastern side of Sacramento, you can get to almost any of these locations that you wanna go within a short amount of driving distance, and it's not th this is, I think, the thing that overwhelms the the family members that I have, that they don't understand that how is everything you? And I'm like, well, it's there, but it's 5 miles away, but it doesn't take me 30 minutes to get there. It's 5 miles away. Distance wise, it's far longer, but time wise, it's far shorter. And
Oh
so
yeah.
I personally don't mind time in a car. So I'd rather be behind the wheel driving consistently at a constant pace and know I'm going to get there at 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 whatever time, instead of being 3 miles away from a location and be sitting in traffic. So
Traffic
I think
is,
it's
yeah.
just a choice of what you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Sacramento is definitely more of like the suburban kind of vibe as opposed to like an urban, like, hey, let's hop on a bus or the BART or whatnot. All right, so we got this one. When are they supposed to be done with the fix on the 50? 50 supposedly will be done by mid next year. Like I said, hopefully. I mean, this is what I've heard. And then I forgot how much construction that is occurring when I come into Sacramento. Yeah, the construction is one of those things that I've heard a lot of people, and they're just going, hey, man, when is the construction going to be done? It's a hard one, right? As far as the 50 goes, it's supposed to be completed like, next year. But then you have the connector project. And then if you're over in Placer, you got the Placer Parkway, you have Placer One, Placer Vineyards, all the construction happening in Folsom. You got the UC Davis extension. You got that new sports complex they're putting up in Folsom. Then in El Dorado Hills, you got like what East Ridge Village that they're putting up 746 lots right above Blackstone. Then you got Bickford Branch Marketplace. You got Toll Brothers Tri Point Shade that's building over there. Then you got Lincoln. I mean, you got so much building here in the Sacramento area. But on the flip side of that, they're building, they're growing, we're developing, people are buying homes and people are moving in, which at the end of the day is gonna, with all these new homes, it's gonna lead to like new schools, new parks, new everything. We're gonna be a brand new kind of a new metro area. So for me, I love Sacramento. I think Sacramento is a great spot. And I think that our growth potential, for me at least, the way I look at it, as far as all the new homes we're building, all the new homes that are being sold, I think we're in a good spot. What do you think, Corey? What are your parting words? And then we'll call it a night.
Yeah, I would say, especially when you see like federal infrastructure, like freeways being developed. Yeah, it's the most annoying thing. It's like the thing that affects your commute and your drive through Sacramento. A bad rap on that because we've been putting so much infrastructure on that. But at the end of the day, those are the things that are going to make it easier for you to get home every day, easier for you to get through the city every day. It those are the things that like have to happen in order for the life here to be the same quality that it is or that it was a couple years ago. And so there, you know, if you want to build anything good, you have to tear it down first, right? You want to rebuild your kitchen? You have to demolish it first. So we're going through the growing pains of that, but with the amount of growth that we have, I think we've overall, and I'm speaking for Sacramento and all the tri-county areas, I think we've been managing it pretty damn well. And this is from me growing up in Los Angeles, where things are really, really, really crappy. So I'll leave it at that. I think we're doing a pretty damn good job.
All right, guys. Well, hopefully you enjoyed the live show that we did tonight. If you did, smash that like button. Also, guys, please reach out to either myself, Corey. There's a Zoom link below. I'll connect you up with Corey as well to support this channel. We're here every single Wednesday live talking to you about Sacramento in real time. It means the world to us. And that's it. Okay, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the show tonight. Buying and selling is stressful. I mean, there are definitely different avenues you can go in, and there's no guarantee. Every property is different, whether you're looking to buy it or sell it. So reach out to our team and we can talk to you a little bit about the pros and cons of selling currently, what your house is valued at, and all that stuff too. There's a link below to schedule a call. Now, if you're thinking about moving to the area, guys, reach out to our team as well. We're working with a lot of people relocating them to the Sacramento area. We absolutely love it. There's a Zoom link below. Set up a time where we can talk to you a little bit about what your needs are. Now, if you enjoyed this live broadcast, smash that like button. We would love to talk to you a little bit about Sacramento. I mean, we always are out and about. So if you're looking at places like El Dorado, Roseville, Rockland, Davis, we got you covered. Just reach out to us. And maybe you don't want to do a Zoom call, so just hit me at my phone number on the banner and we can talk a little Sacramento. Now, guys, one last thing before I go. There's a playlist right over there of other videos I've done about the Sacramento area. Knowledge is power. Those videos will help you kind of make a decision if Sacramento is that spot for you and you want to take it to the next stage. All right, guys, this is Mark. Have a good one. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Remember, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next video.